Join us as to make welcome our guests for today. It is time to talk. This is the Kranda Show.
Here comes Kaine.
Thank you.
Please do have a seat.
Thank you. Super excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's easy to meet a business person, an entrepreneur. You know, you always meet such people.
Yeah.
A student, a career, but you choose to be something different. Now, what's your background like growing up?
Okay, I've always been a sports person. I was born and raised in the city of Owerri. I played street football, street soccer, just like every other kid, and it was they were memorable times, you know. So I growing up, we had heroes. We watched football, Premier Leagues, and all that. And of course, I loved seeing all those big stars and players. I thought to myself, I could be one of them, and that was how I started playing football. I played to the semi-pro level when I got injured. I had a knee injury, and it was a huge setback for me. It was a huge setback. So I had to pause. And in the course of trying to rehabilitate my knee, I got into cycling. I did a long distance cycling. I started doing short cycling because cycling helps to, build strength in your knee, and of course the lower body. So I started doing some short distance cycling. At some point, I decided to try some things because growing up, I read a lot of biographies, autobiographies, Guinness Book of Records, and all that. So the stories there really inspired me. And I was thinking of, when you're reading interesting stories like that of what people have done, you're seeing yourself doing some of all those things. So I decided to do a long distance cycling at some point. I did a cycling tour from Owerri to Lagos in 3 days. That's on bicycle. I did a cycling tour from Lagos to Accra, Ghana, and back in 6 days. And I did a cycling tour from Lagos to Abuja in 4 days. In the course of doing all these, I was still following some other people like some Debnats who traveled around the world in 191 countries on bicycle. He started that in 2014, and I think he has completed it now. So I ran into him when he was in Nigeria, and we had chats and all that. So I know of Mark Bimert, who did the fastest ride across Africa on bicycle in 42 days. And at some point, I was trying to, break that record and set a new world record. So while doing all this, I had my knee was, of course, I felt a lot much better. And I remember when we were growing up, we used to go to hilly areas to prepare for pre-season. So running up the hill and coming down helps build strength, especially your thighs and lower body. So I started liking, to, scale, get to high areas and that. Until I read Top of the World from Nowhere by Sibusiso Villan, a South African who was the first Black person to get to the pinnacle of the world. It was an interesting autobiography. And after reading that, I said, look, I think I have to try some things. I think I have to explore. And that was how I got into mountaineering. So I did, first I had to go to, start with the Olumoro in Abeokuta. And I did that, and people laughed at that. I said, well, that's where I want to start from. Then after that, I did Afajato in Ghana. And after Afajato, that's the highest mountain in Ghana, I did Mount Stanley, which is the third highest mountain in Africa. It's between the border of DR Congo and Uganda. Then after that, I said the next big thing, it's Mount Kilimanjaro. But you see, it costs to do some of these expeditions because those climbing mountains is not something you get to when you start climbing. It's a revenue generating stream for the government, so you pay permits to climb, and of course you fly, pay your return tickets to the country and back, and you have to stay in the hotel, before and after your climb and all that. So it costs to do some of these expeditions. So I all these adventures have been self-funded so far because I need to, save some money, and after that I'll travel. When I get to those countries and I visit the Nigerian embassy and go there and tell them my mission, they're like, no. Do Nigerians, do black people do things like this? Do Nigerians do stuff like this? So they usually do not believe me, and because of that, not much support and all that. But I'm not deterred by those things because I know why, what I want to achieve ultimately, and I'm focused on that. So there are a lot of challenges along the way, a lot of funds, support, and all that. But I'm not deterred because I read a biography that inspired me. I believe that someday I'm gonna write my own story, document my own story, and somebody out there read my story, maybe get inspired to explore not just the earth but outer spaces.
Whoa, you have talked about a lot of stuff already. When climbing mountains, how do you overcome fear?
The fear is there, no doubt. Fear is part of the journey, but move on despite the fear. That's just you're gonna face it. We are humans and we face fears, But you know what? Focus on where you are going. Don't focus on the fear, because when you focus on the fear, you are bound to move towards that direction. So you have to do what? Focus on your dreams, and take it one step at a time. That's how you overcome. And I think that applies to life as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Some people are born and it takes time, and a lot of time to know your purpose, what you want to do, what you want to become. But you discovered yours so early, and you actually, try to fulfill your purpose despite, the challenges and all that. As a personal trainer, what are the most weird statements you have received? Maybe you're working with, female or male. What are the weirdest or most terrible statements that have come to you?
I would say, to be honest, my clients have been they've been nice. They are great people, because there's this saying that you attract like-minded people.
Yeah,
so maybe because the way the way I present myself, the way I present my business, I'm attracted to some of the nicest clients. They've been, very nice because I listen to them. As a coach, of course, you need to have that empathy, So there has been. I used to hear a lot of stories about who personal trainers are, stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I've never experienced it because it has always been a kind of a professional relationship, because we try to focus on what we want to achieve, and it's been a great experience for me. I know from other people, maybe because I don't know, but for me it has been a great experience because there are ethics of the profession. There are ethics that guides this profession. So we need to be conscious of them. We need to have them in mind when training with clients, and remain as professional as we can, but at the same time being friendly, because this is human interaction.
Exactly.
We are not dealing with robots. We have emotions. So you have to have that two things: empathy, that's, I feel what you're feeling, and authority, I know how to guide you to achieve what you want to achieve.
Wow. Now, with all these things, as a Nigerian, as an African, how come you don't attempt the Guinness Book of Record? And then how do you get funded?
Okay. First, everything so far, it has been self-funded because this is Nigeria. And my story is not, at some point, I feel so discouraged that I want to stop all this. But I got to a point where I know that it is no longer about me. It is about the next generation. Maybe someone who will hear my story. Can a Nigerian achieve stuff like this?
Yeah.
Yes. If I give up, I believe that some people's destinies are tied to yours. That if you give up, you fail those people. So I don't want to give up, no matter how long it takes. So it's not just about me, you know. So funding, it's a key aspect of this because it requires in other, you know, like Europe and other countries, you see, where they understand that there is the physical aspects, you know, getting fit, and for the physical aspect, getting fit, it requires good nutrition, it requires exercise, it requires and stress management, and the rest and recovery. Those things are put in place by your team, not just only you. But here, it is not a popular sport. Outdoor sports is not a popular sport. Even the sports we have in Nigeria, I mean, we really do not have, you know, a structure that takes care of our athletes, let alone you doing outdoor sports. They will say, who sent you? Nobody sent you. But then you have to overcome all those things, because I know that at some point, they look at the music industry, what's happening now. Everybody now knows that, you know, you can achieve so much. Look at what our musicians, our artists are doing all over the world. Some people laid the foundation. Some people started it even when nobody believed in them. But today, look at where the industry is. I think that we have to be the pioneers. We have to pioneer this industry. Outdoor, you know, tourism, you know, exploration. We can do it. By the time you are able to break through and people see that, now everybody begins to believe that, yes, you can. And talking about the Guinness Book of Record, I wanted to try, at some point I wanted to try the fastest ride across Africa from Cairo, Egypt to Cape Town, South Africa on bicycle. But then, not before Hilda Bassi did achieved her feat. Before then, people really did not know that was 8 years ago or 10 years ago. People really do not know what Guinness Book of Record is, and people do not believe you. And, you know, because of that, the sponsorship is not coming in. And, you know, in Nigeria, sponsors have to be careful. We don't know and all that. But thank God Hilda Bassi was able to break through all that. So I feel that at some point, you have to be a trailblazer. You know, you have to take the bold step. People do not believe in you, believe in yourself. Keep pushing. It may take, you know, time, it may take, but you will definitely get it. And I mean, in whatever industry you feel that you can make an impact, go ahead and do that. It may take a lot, but keep going. That's it.
They're calling for break. We'll be right back.
Catch up on our weekly programs on the Kaine Kranda show, from pillow talk to talk shows and kitchen sessions. The streets are not left out, as we also engage via our street hangouts and student dialogue. Entertainment at its peak with music star and sports review with a host of other exciting programs. Tune into our YouTube channel and other social media channels at the Kaine Kranda show to stay engaged all day long.
Welcome back. I'm telling you, its inspiration is beyond your imagination, because you'll be wondering, why mountains? Why mountains? Why can't you just go and make money? Why mountains? But this is his passion and this is his vision. You know, and sometimes when people don't understand what you're doing, doesn't mean that you're not doing the right thing. But just like you said, when it comes, you know, known to the people, like, wow, I never knew this is what it's going to look like. And then you now begin to inspire generations to come. It begins to put, you know, blow. Yeah.
Absolutely. You see, Mountains, I see them as they are metaphors. We all have mountains to climb in our lives. So it could be in any area of your life. So whatever thing that challenges you represents the mountain. So the mountain is a physical one. The process to get into the summit is the same. You have to be fit, you have to prepare, you have to train yourself. The same way, if you want to overcome mountain of debt, that you're owing a lot of money, you're trying to build a startup and all that represents mountain, you have to learn, you have to prepare, you have to be resilient, you have to build that mental resilience, and you have to be physically fit. Because if you are not fit, the mind-body connection, when you have a low back pain and all that, it affects your cognitive function. Imagine having one nagging injury somewhere. It affects how your cognitive, ability to do things, where you're having maybe this chronic headache and all that. So you need to put your physical body in place. So mounting, overcoming them, the process is the same. We prepare, we plan. We don't just go start climbing mountains, because imagine climbing for a month, climbing Mount Everest for over a month you've been climbing.
So what's your approach to managing risk while climbing?
You have to be conscious of the environment. You don't take blind risk. So your approach and my approach should be train, prepare, and get as much information about the place you're going to, because you don't want to take unnecessary risk.
Are all mountains the same? Like, I know the different heights. Is it the same approach to every mountain, even though you know?
There are technical mountains and there are freestanding mountains. So the freestanding mountains are usually, we have hills here. They don't require any technique, like using the ice axe, the crampon to climb. They don't require that. So it's not a technical mountain. So it's a freestanding mountain that if you are fit, you can just walk slowly up and down. So that requires you to be physically fit. But a technical mountains requires you to know where to put your rope, to put your axe, and of course the crampon and all that. So you need to be fit, and you have to build the technique over time. For those mountains, I'll suggest you start, with smaller mountains before going into the higher ones.
I've seen mountain climbers climbing high mountains. How come you're not working with doctors, because of safety? Like they have things in case of accident, in case of fall, safety.
Yeah. You see, like I said, it's a new sport in Nigeria. It's an unknown sport. I know that some Nigerians who live overseas, they do stuff like this. But here in Nigeria, you're living in Nigeria, it's not a priority to anybody. So you're trying to do it here in Nigeria, even getting insurance to cover you, because you need insurance to cover you.
Exactly.
The insurance companies, they shy away from all those things. When you approach them, they shy away. They're like, that's not the kind of thing we like to do. But I tell people that, look, we are the pioneers. Maybe when we succeed, everybody now sees, oh wow, this is it, and people now begin to try it. So I'm aware of that. Doctors coming in, but how many doctors will want to follow you? They'll think, oh, it's not realistic, it's not something. So no need wasting time on that and all that. So it's a challenge, both getting sponsors, both getting people who believe that this is possible and all that. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it the adventure. And that's the good thing about the whole story. So when you're telling the stories, it's what makes it what it is. I've been Nigerian. Say you save money, come waka, go climb mountain. You reach that country, reach peak. People will say, for where, do anything, you understand? That was what happened to me when I was climbing Mount Everest. I almost gave up because of the altitude. The higher you go, the lesser the oxygen.
Yeah, that is risky.
Yeah.
That's why the eagle can go far.
Yeah, I was in the airplane. I was sitting by the window side, and when they announced in the plane that they were flying past Kilimanjaro, and I had to use my phone to capture through the window. I was able to capture the mountain. You know what an international flight is? You know how high it is? And I was able to capture the mountain from there. That tells you how high it is. And the altitude there those are the most inhabitable parts of the earth. When they say, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy, it is here. It is this, plain. It's over there. If you make mistakes, oh, come on. The environment there is very unforgiving because it's very harsh. It's very harsh. It's cold. It's freezing cold, and what? Altitude sickness. So I had those experiences when I was climbing, and my camera guy had to go down because he vomited like 12 times. And that was 2 a.m.
The cameraman comes up with you?
Yeah, he came up with me. And
so he's also
a native. He's a native. He's from Tanzania. I'm from Nigeria. And
wait, sorry. Do you always get a cameraman wherever you go to, or you have one that goes with you everywhere you go to?
So we planned it because I wanted to do a movie documentary of my climb. I want to do a movie documentary.
For the Mount Everest?
No, from Mount Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
I've not done Everest.
Okay.
And I got a camera person. We climbed day 1, day 2, day 3. On the final day to the summits, the final, there's this, because this is mountain upon mountain upon mountain. So the Kibo Mountain, the summit is what they actually call Kilimanjaro. The entire mountain here, people know it as Kilimanjaro. But these are mountains upon mountains upon mountains. So the third mountain was Mount Kibo. That is the mountain before Kilimanjaro itself.
Oh.
Yeah, so Kilimanjaro is the peak. So when we got to Mount Kibo, we rested. We got there around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. We rested till 11:30 p.m. when we started to prepare for the journey to hit the summit. So we wanted to hit the summit when it's sunrise so we can get the best views, and I'll take pictures and all that, and immediately start coming down, because when you get to the summit, this is no place you will love to be. You will never, when you take pictures and say, oh, thank God,
begin to come.
Immediately you have to come to the
place.
Really?
Yeah, why? Definitely. The risk or what?
Yeah, because of the oxygen. Yeah, you need a place where you need to be in this
level place, yeah.
This atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you have to start leading there. So you see some heights where people wear oxygen masks. You get, so we're wearing the oxygen masks there, wearing the oxygen mask. So we have to start immediately. You have to start going down. So if you feel dizzy or tired, you are not advised to stay there, because the reason why you're feeling dizzy and having this nausea and feeling like you want to faint or something is because of that altitude. So you're advised to keep going down, to keep going down, to keep going down
as fast as you can.
Don't stop here. Keep going down. Still keep going down. So you can get to an atmosphere where your body is used to, because your body is not designed to be at that altitude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why didn't you choose to be a pilot since you love heights?
Maybe because my parents didn't have the money to send me to to that school, and I wasn't guided in that. Maybe I learned late, but the path I am on, anything is still possible, because I believe in exploring. I believe in exploring, I believe in learning, and I believe that anything is possible. At any age, you can pick up any career paths. And when you have a strong why, you can succeed in that path. And that's what my story is all about. My story I want to live a life where when I'm no more there, people can go there at my graveside and put anything is possible. Yeah, and that's the life I want to live. Anything is possible, and I believe anything is possible. I'm not saying there are not going to be challenges. There are going to be challenges. I tell people, even in business, there are going to be challenges. People are going to walk away from you. People are not going to believe you. But then again, it's about you having that conviction that this is possible.
What I want.
This is possible. And not just saying it, but living it, so you can have stories to tell. So those things could be a reference point to people, that look, this is possible. I've seen it, and we need role models like that. I tell people in Nigeria, what we need is not more people talking, more people we need role models. We need people who have lived that life,
You have a voice, and it must be heard.
Thank you.
Your story is wonderful. Not just inspiring, but it gives life, to someone that is already dead. And that is the voice you have. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep subscribing and follow. Don't forget. This is the Kaine Kranda Show. Till we come your way again. Bye for now.
It's time.